Welcome back to Fight Life. Hey, it's me Tejas and that's Dipayan.
Hello, guys.
And it's 2022 now, and the best time to make a video on the reflection of 2021 is in Jan. Clearly, we are late, but I guess we're still excited about this video and we have to get this off our chest. Dipayan, do you care to share how our journey began in 2021?
So I remember how we started. We had many ideas like let's make this our first video, let's make that our first video, and we were
Right.
very skeptical about it. And then we saw Jake versus Ben Askren, and
Yeah.
and we just lost it, and we're like, you know what? Let's give this a shot. Anyways, we do this for fun, and we have loads and loads of extra time to waste. So we're like, let's give it a shot, and then that's how we gradually started. And from there point, eventually we started like covering more of the like serious fights and bouts, like Dustin and Connor trilogy, like which was like a crazy fight, and then many more on the way. We also covered fights like Billy Joe Saunders versus Canelo.
Right.
What else did we cover? Like, do you have any mentions? Like, what do you think? Like, I left out and we did a good coverage of.
Oh, lots of them. I mean, both the Usman versus Masvidal, Usman versus Kobe. These were fights that we really enjoyed and loved covering. And I think it's nice to look back and think of how we started off by not even finding a good place to record. I was sitting at the corner of my bed because it had a white background, and then I actually figured out a place to sit down in my room.
Okay, quick thing for the viewers.
Yeah.
Go and watch all our videos, and you have to give the count of this orange T-shirt.
It's gonna be up there in like it's fairly frequent, I think. Anyways, and we really did enjoy making the videos that we did make in 2021. And as Dipayan mentioned, we did not start right off the bat. We watched a couple of matches which we enjoyed, but we did not make videos on until the Jake versus Ben Askren fight, and the rest is history. Let's hope that is something that people really look back.
So on this point, like I would like to ask you, what is your critics? Like how would you judge our videos?
How would we rate our performance of 2021? Yeah. Let's just say our uploads were inconsistent, and also another thing would be, what could be another main issue? We do not cover as many big fights as we would have liked to. But I think we put out some good content.
Generally, it's I mean, generally at the end of the day, if it makes me and you happy that what we're doing is, it's reaching out to even like if we enjoyed it, and even if it's reaching out to one single person, and he or she starts following what we do, and then they get interest in this combat sports because it's not much cultivated in India.
Right.
And that's our major motive, to bring out the youth and start thinking about directions other than the already available sports. So
that's right.
This was what my major concern was. And so until unless we are having fun, it doesn't matter to me. So yeah.
And about that point of sharing our thoughts and little observations about the sport of MMA and boxing, I think some of our friends in our circles have taken little interest to it, and they've also started following these sports, which is brilliant. I think more and more eyes for the sports, better for the fighters, better for the audience as a whole. And
so now, leaving the past behind, I mean,
leaving the past. No, I mean, let's celebrate the past. We did enjoy it.
Yes, we did enjoy it, but now I think the watchers are more interested. Like, what can they expect us from 2022, right?
Right. So what can the viewers expect? I think they can firstly expect consistent uploads. Yeah, that's one thing. What else, Dipayan? What else do you have in mind?
So we have bizarre events in our head. Okay, so first thing, like we expanding our sports. Yeah, so expanding the sports, like generally right now we are discussing only on MMA and boxing.
Right.
We are planning on to expand on different sports and different martial arts, and also we are planning to start a few new series to be more consistent
Mm-hmm.
And for everyone out there who doesn't know how to begin in this field, who does not know what he should be doing if
I
he's
think we have
overweight,
something coming for
if
you.
yes, we have something really good coming for you, and it would be really appreciable if you all follow this series. So I'm
That's
not going
right.
to ask you to subscribe, like it. That's you if you like it, do it. And I'm never going to beg for it, but yeah. So I think you will love it. So everyone who wants to become physically fit, they are gonna be like happy
They'll
with what they're gonna
appreciate it.
put out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will appreciate it in
Yeah, I
general.
mean, for anyone who would like to begin or just generally know about some of these other martial arts, which I think we haven't looked at much in the last year, stay tuned because we're planning a little series, and kind of changing up the style of our content from just post-fight discussions, which our channel has mostly been about so far. So that's what you can expect in 2022. So stay tuned for that. But we cannot leave 2021 without some great mentions because it was amazing for combat sports in terms of its entertainment value and just
Yeah,
how memorable it was. Dipan, let's start with talking about our top three KOs of the year.
chaos. Top three chaos. And all the viewers, you have to mention if you agree or disagree with us and what do you think of it. So first thing out of the bag from boxing, I think Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder.
Mm-hmm.
That knockout was one of the best in 2021.
Right.
What do you think?
Uh, uh, Wait, how about you finish your list and I'll rank mine a bit
Okay.
differently, I
So
would say. Yeah.
okay, and the second fight was Usman versus Masvidal,
Mm-hmm.
where Masvidal, I'm sorry, sleeps on Usman's shoulder,
Boy.
and another one was Rose versus Jean Bailey,
That
the
was amazing.
the head kick that came out of nowhere. And one honorable mention,
Mm-hmm.
and I cannot let it go. And it was Jake versus Tyron Woodley, the second fight. And the
It is an
reason it's
honorable.
here, I would like to justify this because he's a YouTuber, okay?
Hmm.
And Woodley was a pro MMA fighter, that was a good one.
That's true.
And the shot that he connected on Tyron Woodley was not just a overhand out of nowhere. He fakes a body shot and then follows it up with a right hook, I guess it was, right?
Yeah, it was a right
and
overhand. Yeah.
and then you can see in the slow motion all the sweat coming out of Tyron's
So
head.
you know how powerful that shot really was. Yeah.
And I think it's a fair shout, it's gonna be there, though it's not from the original fighting culture, like not from boxing,
Hmm.
legendary boxing stuff, and not MMA stuff, but I think it deserves a shout out there. So yeah,
That's true.
what
I
are your
mean,
mentions?
my list is almost the same. Usman and Masvidal in second, but for uh, with number three, I had Rose versus Zhang Weili. The head kick that Rose landed out of nowhere. No one saw that coming against a very dominant opponent in Zhang Weili, and what a sensational finish that was. So no way I couldn't mention that. And in fact, it's kind of flipped here because my number one KO for 2021 was Wilder versus Fury. After a grueling back and forth contest and immense heart shown by both warriors, I would say, Fury
Hmm.
just puts the trilogy to an end by just finishing Wilder with a beautiful
So
shot.
I think we got our top three correct, no matter like what position
Yeah,
it is
just
in.
a different order.
The
We we,
fights are
we
correct.
had
Yeah.
similar thoughts in mind. I think I'll go for the top three moments then, huh?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So my top three moments. The first one is gonna be Canelo versus Billy Joe, and
Ooh,
that's
folks.
and the specific moment I'm referring to is I forget which round right now, but Canelo just starts applying the pressure after Billy Joe has been flicking the jab really well, and he
I
connects
think it was the
a
sixth round.
beautiful uppercut on Billy Joe, and he starts getting the crowd to cheer him on, and
Oh, that
the
was the finishing
energy.
round, right? Eighth round or
Yeah,
seventh round?
I think it was the eighth round. That's right.
Eighth round, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And he just gets the crowd behind him, and the electricity you could feel was unbelievable. So that would be my
Yeah.
moment number three. Um, Moment number 2 is gonna be Dustin Poirier versus Conor McGregor 2. And the reason I say this was, of course, McGregor had been inactive prior to this and had been finished by submission in the past. But it seemed like no one could beat him in a stand-up fight. But Dustin, with a brilliant game plan of using those calf kicks in that fight, he neutralizes Conor and then
Yeah,
unloads a beautiful flurry and finishes Conor in a stand-up fight. And you could hear the commentary going nuts in the background for good reason, I
yeah,
think. And I
yeah,
think that was a definitive moment where many think that's the end of Conor. Time will tell.
yeah.
But yeah, that was my moment number 2. Not for the knockout, but honorable mention would be Jake versus Woodley 2. And
Mm-hmm.
although it was an amazing knockout, I see it more for the moment. A moment where
Hmm.
a former UFC champion, and let's not get this twisted, undeniable UFC legend who has defended the welterweight belt multiple times, gets knocked into another orbit by the YouTuber Jake Paul. I think, as for
Yeah.
the reasons you mentioned before, there is some,
It shows how mature Jake has become and how seriously he's taking this sports.
no doubt about it.
So
Yeah.
if anyone after that fight still calls him like it was fake, he's
Hmm.
not taking it seriously, I think you're not doing him justice.
Hmm.
I think you need to leave that mentality behind and see him what he has performed in this match for what he
Right.
has done.
For what he has done. Yeah.
And I surely think you will come to agreement with what we're saying.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Right, that's an honorable moment. And my number one moment was also a great knockout, and maybe not the greatest moment overall, but it's something that was just very personal to me because uh, we're talking about Francis versus Stipe 2.
Stipe.
And it was the moment where Francis knocks out Stipe Miocic in his
Oof.
rematch and becomes heavyweight champion in the UFC. And it was special to me because I'd taken real interest in Francis' story before this. How he traveled got himself to France somehow, became an MMA fighter, and it's quite kind of a rags to riches story based on his own pure will. And to see that come to fruition was a beautiful moment that I certainly won't forget. But Dipan, I'm really curious to know what you have as
So
your top 3
I
moments.
agree with your honorable mentions,
Hmm.
but I completely think I'm not doing a justice to Charles.
I thought about it.
Charles, my man, has like crazily won all of the matches in 2021.
Right.
And Charles versus Dustin Poirier was like cherry on top of the cake. And
Well
that
put.
rare naked choke standing,
Hmm.
I mean, that image is just so beautiful. It
Right.
reminds me of the wild, like how cheetah attacks on the behind.
Hmm.
It gives me that feeling, and he has that whitish hair, like
Right,
how
right, right.
cheetah cubs have it when they're, yeah. So
Oh, you made
I
that
mean,
observation.
yeah. So Charles versus Dustin was like clearly in the number three for me.
Right.
Uh, Number two, I have Usman versus Kobe.
Hmm.
It
Yeah,
was a
that was
war.
a brilliant fight.
It was a war, and I love seeing war than just straight on knockout and stuff.
Hmm.
And my first was Billy Joe versus Canelo because
Hmm.
there was a lot of back and forth. A British boxer,
Hmm.
30-0, I guess that's what his record was.
Yeah, around he was at
And
that point. Yeah.
there was a lot of things Canelo told, like he would never like put his knee down for a busted eye or something like that, and he would go on.
So for people who may not have context, um, uh, Joe Joyce fought a heavyweight whose name I currently forget, unfortunately, and Joe Joyce won that fight by jabbing his opponent continuously to the extent where his eye closed and he took a knee because he didn't want to continue. And Billy Joe said, I wouldn't take a knee. And karma, I
And
guess,
Canelo,
because one uppercut to the eye, of course, he
and
broke
he had
his orbital
yeah,
bone,
fracture, yeah,
um, fractured rather,
yeah,
and
fractured, yeah.
he couldn't get up for the next round, which was unfortunate, but it kind of went against what he said before.
And Yeah, and that moment when Canelo was swinging and cheering
Oh
all
yeah,
the
my
Mexican
goodness.
fans there,
Yeah, yeah,
and
it
like
was crazy.
so these three were my top
Seventy
moments. I think
thousand
you can
fans,
do.
right? About those many?
Yeah, I think at that point it was like one of the most packed.
Yeah, it was
And after that, I
mind-boggling
think Tyson
numbers.
and Wilder was the next most packed thing. So yeah,
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, Tyson versus Wilder, it still gives me chills.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe that's an
So
honorable mention. Just the whole fight,
oh yeah,
all
that's
the
that's obviously
moments.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now that brings us to our last best moment from 2021. Who do you think the fighter of 2021 was?
The fighter of 2021 for me is gonna be Kamaru Usman, and I think that should not be a surprise for many people because he has had
I
a
have
year
two.
like,
I have two in mind.
oh yeah,
I have two in mind.
you'll have to wait because this
Okay.
guy he really deserved to be a fighter of 2021 for me. He beat Gilbert Burns in devastating fashion. Same for Masvidal, and he proved everyone wrong by beating Covington a second time,
Yeah,
albeit not convincingly. It was a close fight, but
it
he
was a
still
close fight. Yeah.
stamped his authority in that division, and I think he is one of the welterweight greats. But who are the
So
two people you have in mind?
so for me, Usman, for all the same reasons that Tejas has
Right.
mentioned, he deserves to be number one, and I think Charles does too.
Charles has had quite the year, 2021.
Yeah. So I think these two are my nominees. So yeah, that's about it from my side.
Pretty. I think
Now,
we have a nice list overall. Nice matches, nice fighters, great
yeah,
moments.
and if you guys haven't seen that, I think all the fights that we have mentioned, we have covered it
Yeah,
in our reviews over the Instagram and the YouTube. You
right.
can check it there. You can watch it on the any way you feel like. So if you haven't watched anything and you want to stay relevant, I think you can watch these and also the Dustin and Conor McGregor trilogy, whole three fights. If you want to really be like what's happening in that division.
Right. So if you want to keep up with everything that's been happening, please do check out our Instagram and YouTube channel,
Yeah.
where we have covered most of these fights. Yeah. So I guess that closes the chapter of 2021,
Yeah.
and we are at the doorstep of a crazy fight. I mentioned Francis versus Stipe as being my big moment of 2021, and Francis Ngannou, now UFC heavyweight champion, who's a notorious knockout artist, goes in to face a technical master in Ciryl Gane. It's a big fight, and Francis is the underdog, which is not something you hear often.
But looking at the sparring, footages available, I think I know why people are supporting, the Cyril Gane.
Hmm,
For me, so I watched a short video, YouTube shorts,
hmm,
and I see how easily Cyril Gane is slipping all those big hands delivered
hmm,
from Francis,
hmm.
and he's hitting combinations,
Right.
not just by hands and also with his elbows.
Hmm.
So this is what I love to see from someone who's doing mixed martial arts. That he's using every bit of his body, from legs to elbows to
Hmm.
his fists, everything. He
And
has
he's
that
really good with
dynamics.
submissions as well, right?
He's really good with submissions as well. But I think Francis also worked on his submissions. We saw that against Stipe too.
No, no, sorry, not submission. Oh, his wrestling. He
Wrestling,
worked on
yeah,
his
sorry,
wrestling
yeah,
defense, rather.
wrestling, yeah, defense, yeah, rather, yeah.
Hmm.
So, what are your predictions? Leaving all the favorites behind, underdog behind, what do you think?
First prediction of 2022. Big moment right
Yeah,
here.
go ahead.
Shit, I don't want to get this wrong, but I am going with my gut instinct, which says Francis is going to get the job done.
I
And
think so too. I think
and
so too.
in I would say round two, because now he knows how to be a bit more patient, as we saw in that last Stipe fight. Um,
So is Cyril Gane. He's
yeah,
patient with his
which
prey.
is
He
why I
knows
don't
when to
see a
exploit.
knockout happening in the first round, and probably Francis
And
might
if you
get into
think
an
it goes the
exchange
distance,
and knock him out.
if you think it goes the distance and not a knockout, I think Cyril Gane will have the points.
Oh yeah, it's not at all hard to imagine Ciryl Gane winning this fight. Let me get that right. Ciryl
Yeah,
Gane is
yeah.
really good technically, but it's
If
the X
Francis has
factor
to
of
win,
Ngannou that
yeah,
makes it so unpredictable at times.
the power with what he delivers.
That's right.
If it lands, it's gonna be very troublesome. But I think Francis will get the job done.
Do you think?
Probably in the round third, I guess. But I think Francis will be the winner. And if it goes the distance, then Ciryl Gane.
Yeah, I mean, if it
Yeah,
goes the
that
distance,
would be
by
my
then
take.
Francis would be tired, and yeah, it'll be harder for
He's a heavy
him
man.
to.
But you know what?
Yeah.
No matter who wins, it's a win for our channel and the sports of MMA.
Uh, that's not going to save you if you get your prediction wrong. But at least we went for the same fighter. So I guess if our both sinks tomorrow, we'll be in the same boat. Uh, that's our prediction, guys. Strange.
Yeah.
We
So
we predicted the same fighter after I think quite a long time. Have you done that before? I don't think
no,
so.
no,
For
just
the
for
first
the
time on Fight
spice.
Life
Yeah.
history, we're going for the same fighter, who is
Imagine
in
if we
fact the
lose.
underdog.
Imagine if we lose.
Yeah, I guess we both take a hit in that case. And
Anyways,
that,
guys, so I think this is going to be a very long video. If you made it this far, so thanks a lot. And be like, we are going to be more consistent with our uploads, and be sure you subscribe, because we have something really good in our back of the mind. And yeah, so anything
and
adrian you
that
would like to
fight
address?
that we just gave a preview for is tomorrow. So we should be making a post-fight discussion video tomorrow. So stay tuned for that and more content which we've been talking about in this video. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
See ya, guys. Peace.